On behalf of the team members, we have some family members here. I want to thank all of our family members for being here and friends. We know that behind the team is a family that's supportive, our biggest cheerleader, and I want to make sure we thank everybody, whether they're here or afar. We know we have their support. And there are a couple other people I just would like to recognize before I kind of get going here. Back in 1979, people who made a significant contributions to our group, and one of course was Virginia Whittaker, who was the athletic director at the time, who certainly made my job a lot easier. And the other who was very important on the team is Ian Patton, who was our assistant coach and worked with our defense, making us one of the top defensive teams in the state. And another person to recognize, Cheryl Dreyer, who was our JV coach. And I actually brought it. I had to dig out this scrapbook that these players had made for me. That was before, all this computer stuff was going on. So, when I looked through this scrapbook, I was looking at some of the articles, and there was a quote that was in the Courier-Post for the last top 10 poll season. And I'm going to read that to you right now. It's a quote. "A perfect season in Scholastic Field Hockey is rare, very rare. Just as rare is finding a team which holds the #1 spot in the top 10 poll from the first week until the final week." Well, the 1979 team did that, and they were a very rare team. Just to give you a quick little history of the season, because the team started the 1979 season beating a team, Willingboro, who was the only team to beat us the year before. And so when we went in to start that season, they were determined, and they had that in their mind, that wasn't going to happen again. And beating that Willingboro team really set the stage for the year. We ended up then being ranked #1 in the Courier-Post poll, probably because of that. And as you all know, anybody who's in the athletic world, when you're ranked #1, everybody's out to get you. Whether you're the #2 team or the last team, everybody wants to play their best against you. And about midway through the season, we played the #2 team, Shawnee. And they were undefeated at the time. But we got the victory and stayed at #1. We went on at #1. We won the 4th South Jersey Conference title. We headed into the state tournament. In the South Jersey tournament, we beat 2 undefeated teams. And then we had to play Willingboro again, the team, our nemesis from the year before. And what a game it was. It went back and forth. And Celine was actually quoted in the paper. That's why I have that article. And it said, "I just knew when we left the field the day before that game that this was not going to be our last practice." So in their mind, they had it set. And we went on to beat Willingboro in a very tight game. The last 5 minutes of the game, B.J. Zeller scored the winning goal, and we won 1-0. Yep. So after South Jersey, then we kind of headed on, and this is where the old adage, defense wins championships, comes into play. And we have several defense players up here too. And we ended up going, beating 2 teams. Well, our next 2 games were shutouts. And it was a great defensive effort, but we also outscored our opponent 7-0 to win the Group 4 state championship. And it was a total team effort. We had a strong, aggressive defense and a talented, supportive offense, and we were able to win the title and remain #1 in the South Jersey poll and finish the season 18-0-1. One of the things I learned early on in my coaching career is leadership is significant to successful teams. And this group, they were 5 of the 7 seniors that were on the team that year. They had all played together since middle school, right? And they were really talented and had been very successful in numerous sports, but they hadn't quite won the big one. And after the junior season, they already were talking about next year we'll win the state championship. And they set when they came into that 79 season, they were setting the pace, they were setting the rules and the regulations for the season. They took the underclassmen under the belt, let them know what the expectations were and what their dreams were to get things done. They believed, and it's easy to talk, you know, you can go in and say, oh, we're going to win the state championship. But they believed, they worked hard, they made it happen. Now, don't get me wrong, this was a really crazy group. They had a lot of fun, they had a lot of laughs, they had a lot of good times, and they made a lot of good friendships. And as a matter of fact, this group up here, they've remained friends, and that's probably one of the most rewarding things for me, is seeing how their friendships have continued on, how they stay in touch with each other. And that's what makes athletics and being involved with sports so special. So today, it makes me very proud not only to be here to support them. They were a very talented group of athletes. They were very strong students. They were exceptional people, and they were a great group of kids to coach, because I always call my kids, because they were at the time. But as you see, they've grown into be some really remarkable young women. Well, they're not close again. Because this was 45 years ago, after all. No, they're a very talented group, and they became a very rare team. And I'm very proud of them. Congratulations. And they were simply the best. Thank you.